I still remember the sound like thunder wrapped in silence. 3 men charged across the marble floor of the Vignette Grill, all muscle tattoos and intent. And in the span of 4 seconds, they were on the ground, unmoving. Not dead, just defeated. People think the story starts there. Viral video, 40 million views, headlines calling it the waiter who fought death. But they missed the real beginning. The man who did all that. He used to wipe tables in the corner, head down, no small talk. Folks called him James, just James. He walked like he was trying not to take up space, but you could tell if you were paying attention that this man had walked through storms you couldn't imagine. 6'2" with shoulders that carried more than trays. I didn't even notice him really, not until he saved my boss's life. My name's Sienna. I'm the assistant to Garrett Monroe, CEO of Monroe Dynamics. Garrett doesn't shake when he speaks, doesn't flinch under pressure. But that night, he bled into a linen napkin and stared at James like he was looking at a ghost. James didn't wait for applause. While police zipped past frightened guests, he answered their questions like he was checking off a grocery list. No, he didn't know the men. Yes, he was trained. No, he wasn't hurt. But I saw his hands still curled, not at ease. That kind of calm doesn't come from peace. It comes from surviving too much. Turns out he used to be Special Forces Black Ops level. But after his wife died of cancer, he left everything. Took care of his daughter, Lila. 8 years old, all questions and freckles and curiosity. He worked night shifts so he could walk her to school in the morning, help with math homework in the evening. He didn't want this spotlight. Didn't ask for it. When the video went viral, he just turned his face away from the cameras. I'm no hero, he told the cops. Just a dad who wants to get home safe. But Garrett couldn't let it go. A CEO like him worth billions isn't used to owing his life to a janitor, especially not one who turned down money twice. You could have anything Garrett said, a 6-figure job, protection, silence. James just looked at him and said, My kid wants me home every night. That's the only deal I'm taking. I started running into James after that, at the local grocery, once in the park. And somehow, we talked. Not much, but enough to feel it. You know that feeling when someone sees through your walls and doesn't push? That was him. He told me about his wife, about how she used to laugh at trashy reality shows, how she held his hand the day she left this world and told him to keep smiling for Lila. And then the second attack came. A bullet crashed through Garrett's office window, missed him by inches. It wasn't random. The same enemy, different method. This time Garrett didn't ask. He called James and said, I need you. James showed up not for Garrett, but to stop it. For good. He joined the security detail, quietly reviewing protocols, rerouting habits. No one knew who he really was, but I watched him, saw the gears turning the math in his mind, and for the first time in years, I didn't feel alone. The third attack never happened, because James saw it coming. 2 men planting explosives in the garage, military grade. They didn't speak during interrogation, but James recognized the pattern. They're not going to stop, he told Garrett, voice low-clipped. They'll keep coming, until they hit something that breaks you. Garrett didn't say anything, but his eyes shifted to me. James nodded. Then we end it, on our terms. The plan was simple in theory. Leak fake intel about a secret board meeting at Garrett's estate. Reduce visible security. Make it look easy. I argued to stay, of course. If something happens to him, I need to be there, I said. James didn't like it, but he let me stay. Handed me a secure phone. If I don't give you the code word, you don't open that safe room. No matter what. Then he walked into the dark. 7 men came that night. Not thugs, trained, coordinated, led by a man named Riker, someone Garrett had fired years ago for selling secrets. This wasn't business anymore. It was war. James didn't fight like in the movies. There was no posing, no shouting, just precision. 2 men dropped before they even saw him. A third choked out in seconds. But then the noise broke loose. Gunfire. Screams. James fought through it all, ducking behind stone pillars, flipping furniture for cover, using shadows, reflections, angles. A decorative sword from Garrett's study became a real weapon. He didn't kill. Not one. When he finally faced Riker, blood on the marble bruises blooming on both of them, it wasn't about strength. It was about will. "You don't know what he took from me," Riker growled. James held steady. "Hurting more people won't give it back." The final blow was clean. Controlled. Riker crumpled, breathing, but done. When James opened the safe room door and looked at me, he barely spoke, but I saw it. In his eyes, the cost of choosing restraint. We patched him up, called the feds. By morning, the conspiracy was public. Garrett's own head of security exposed. And then came the offers. Garrett wanted James on payroll. Permanent position. Head of security, health benefits, college fund. James said no. "I'm not a corporate man," he said. "I'm just a dad with priorities." But what he didn't refuse was dinner. At our place. Lila made him promise. Over time, we just became a thing. Not flashy, not loud, but real. Lila would crawl between us on movie nights. I learned James couldn't cook to save his life, but made the best pancakes. He learned I hummed when I was nervous and carried emergency chocolate in my purse. Garrett changed too. He showed up for school plays, started calling Lila his goddaughter, said he was just in the neighborhood, but we all knew better. 6 months after that night, Lila turned 9. We threw a small party, cake music, folding chairs in the yard. Garrett brought balloons. James grilled terribly. I brought wine. And Lila, with frosting on her nose, said, "I wish we could always be like this." No one spoke. We just nodded, because we all wanted that too. Later that night, after dishes and stories and one too many marshmallows, James kissed me on the fire escape. "I think Catherine would have liked you," he said softly. "She would have told me to stop being an idiot and kiss you already." So I kissed him again. The wedding was small. Lila was flower girl ring bearer and bossy maid of honor. Garrett walked me down the aisle crying behind his sunglasses. James said his vows like a soldier making a promise. I said mine like a woman finally home. Now we live in a slightly bigger apartment. James teaches self-defense to teenage girls who think he's secretly Batman. I freelance so I can be home for Lila after school. It's not perfect. James still wakes up from nightmares. I still overwork. Lila still asks about her real mom sometimes, but it's ours. We built this out of chaos, out of grief, out of second chances no one saw coming. And yeah, sometimes I think about that night. The one with 3 attackers and a man in an apron who changed everything. You think you know what strength looks like. But maybe it's a man who folds laundry without being asked, who shows up, who stays. Now tell me, what would you have done if you were Garrett? Would you have trusted the quiet man in the shadows, or written him off like everyone else? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I'm dying to know who are the real protectors in this world, and how many are we ignoring just because they don't look the part.